Hey, howdy, happy Saturday, whatever day it is where you are. Welcome, happy day to ya. It's a beautiful Saturday where I am today, and I'm happy to be alive, happy that my body is still moving. So I thought I'd take a little bit of time to check in with myself, take some deep breaths, and let go of some stress. And as usual, I invite you to join me if you feel like it, to whatever degree feels good in your body. I got the heater going over here, but still a little chilly in the Head Hutt because I had it off for the last while. Let's take just a couple deep breaths. Bring my attention into the bottoms of my feet. Root myself into the center of the earth. I'm going to make sure those legs are not locked. Shake out the arms and shoulders and hips and legs a little bit. Just bring my awareness to somewhere out in the center of the universe. Check in with the spine and the alignment. And then with those legs unlocked, I'm going to bend from the hips, that's below the waist. And come down toward the floor. Just hang here from the hips. Shaking out those shoulders a little bit more. And then I'm going to bend the knees, swing the arms back. Come into a bit of a counter stretch, bringing the arms back, pushing the hips forward, lifting the eyes and the chest. And then coming back to center, shaking that out. Shake it to one side and then the other. I'm going to roll down nice and slow this time. Again, still just checking in with the spine, seeing where it's stiff, where it's supple, where it's sticky, where it's sore. Just loosening it all up, shaking it all out. Do a little hip sway while I'm down there, and then I'm going to roll back up, pushing from the feet, stacking one vertebrae on the next. Still just checking in. Let's do some shoulder rolls. Breathing in on the way up and then exhaling on the way down. And the other way. Shake all that out. Let's do some little arm circles. See if it's warmed up enough in here. Let's do some little circles with the hands on the fingers on the hands, wrists, hands on the wrists. That's what I was trying to say. Something like that. And the other way. Just still checking in with the whole body. Seeing how she's doing today. Let's do big arm circles. Nice and slow. I got dome behind me. Exhaling on the way down. Bending the knees. Breathing in on the way up. Let's go the other way. Exploring big circles, expanding the lungs, and then squeezing all that air out. Shake that out again. Got some little pops and adjustments to make there. Let's do some just gentle spinal twists, shifting weight from one side and then the other, and let the arms just hang loose. Let's contrast that with some twisting with the arms. Going more slowly and deliberately, shifting the weight. Similar action, but with more deliberateness, more mindfulness, more intention. And then let's go back to just free swinging the arms. Let's do again. Deliberate movement. Still shifting the weight over to the right. Twisting over to the left. Shake all that out. I'm going to go ahead and step back with that left foot, pushing into that back heel, pulling the back hip forward, tipping the tailbone under, looking for a nice long and strong line with the abdomen and spine through the core. Bring those arms up. And then bring the arms down in front, pulling back and down in the shoulders. And alternate between sharp focus, focusing on the tips of my fingers, and then peripheral soft eyes, gazing out past my fingers, all the way around the universe, to imagine the back of my own head, and noticing where my peripheral vision gets to with those soft eyes, and then shifting again to sharp focus, right on the tips of my fingers. And then again, soft eyes gazing out past the horizon. One more time, sharp focus on the tips of the fingers. And then I'm going to follow this left finger up and over as I shift that back heel onto the perpendicular line, coming into the side plane, shifting that back foot out a little bit. Just feeling into this side plane, opening the hips, pulling this knee to the outside and opening this hip to this other side. And then bending from the hip, I'm going to come into a side twisting triangle, lifting that left arm, sliding that back foot out if need be, using my right arm and leg against each other for torque and support. And I'm going to bring this arm around the back side, reaching for this thigh, still trying to not collapse in that arm and leg, gazing out past that long leg. Don't forget to breathe and smile, whatever else you're doing. I'm going to bring this arm around, unwinding it, shifting onto that back toe, and bring both hands on the inside of that front leg for a nice deep lunge there. And then bringing that front foot back to meet the back foot, pressing through the palms, through the spine, tipping the tailbone toward the back of the head, pressing into those heels. I'm going to move this blanket because it's a slippery. Just enjoying that stretch, pushing the heart toward the center of the earth, pushing into the heels. Let's bend the right knee and push into that left heel a little more. And then bending the left knee, pushing into the right. And again, pushing into the left. Pushing into the right. Pushing into both heels. Tipping that tailbone toward the back of the head, getting a nice stretch through the front of the body. And then I'm going to swing the body forward, lifting the chest through the shoulders, bringing those legs together, lifting the eyes and the chest, and just letting the belly drop. Taking a couple breaths here to relax. You can kind of wiggle around on those toes if that feels good. And then lifting those hips again, pushing back to a little bit deeper downward facing dog or upside down tent triangle position. Pressing the heart toward the earth. tipping the tailbone toward the back of the head, pressing into those heels. And then I'm going to swing this left foot forward in between the hands into a nice deep lunge. Enjoying that. Releasing there. And then I'm going to step forward with the back foot again, hanging in forward fold, just releasing from the hips, letting the spine unwind. I give myself a hug, pulling up with the abdomen now, up in the pelvic floor, back in the abdomen, left elbow over right, giving myself a nice hug. Ka-chunk, there's some big ka-chunks in there. Just pulling those shoulder blades apart. I like to add a nice squeeze to the shoulders, rounding the spine, feeling into that roundedness, and then releasing all that again from the hips all the way down toward the floor. Take a nice deep releasing breath there, and then come up this time right elbow over left. Again, pulling up in the pelvic floor, back in the abdomen, rounding the spine, tucking the chin. Really just enjoying that rounding. Giving myself a nice hug. And then releasing all that again from the hips. Shaking all that out down there. I'm going to roll up again, one vertebrae at a time, stacking on the next. Just checking in with the spine. Shake all that out. One side and then the other. You can shake off your stresses. There's more stresses a-coming. Let's step back with the right foot. Pulling that back foot forward. Tipping the tailbone under and enjoying a nice moderate lunge on this side. Looking for a nice strong line from the core. And again, bringing arms up overhead. And then down in front, pulling down and back with those shoulders. And bringing my eyes, sharp focus to the tips of my fingers. And then soft eyes, gazing past my fingers all the way around the universe or the world to see the back of my own head. Checking in with my peripheral view, my soft eyes. My long vision, and then sharp eyes, short sight right on the tip of my fingers. Checking in to those shoulders, checking in with that pelvis, checking in with those hips, pushing into that back heel. Again, soft eyes, gazing around the world, around my heart to see the back of my own head. And then sharp focus on my fingertips. And then I'm going to shift that back heel forward, following this fingertip across and over, sliding that back foot out a little bit, exploring this side plane here. I'm going to be bending from the hip, but first I'm going to check in with this knee, opening the hips with this hip facing this way and this knee bending this way. And then bending from this hip, coming into a side twisting triangle, lifting that right arm, gazing past those fingertips. Bringing this arm around the back to reach for that opposite thigh, and gazing out past that long leg, enjoying a nice twist, a nice hug for all the internal organs, a little checking in with everybody. Giving that a breath or two to unwind, and then unwinding all of that, bringing that hand on the inside of this right foot, shifting onto that back toe a little bit, enjoying a nice deep lunge on that side, and then bringing that foot back to meet the back foot, pressing through the palms, through the spine, tipping the tailbone toward the back of the head, pressing into those heels. Pressing the heart toward the earth. Swing the body forward, lifting the chest through the elbows, keeping those legs together. I'm going to wiggle those feet back a little bit, lifting the chest and the eyes, bringing the legs together, and just relaxing through the belly. Trying to let that front drop. It's a good place for a nice tongue stretch if you're into that sort of thing. Just letting that relax a little bit more, and then lifting those hips, pressing back with the hands through the palms, through the arms, through the spine, tipping the tailbone toward the back of the head, pressing into those heels. Then I'm going to swing this right foot forward in between the hands for a nice deep lunge on that side. I encourage long, deep sighs. Thank you for the love. I do appreciate that. I'm going to step forward with this back foot, hanging here in forward fold again. Letting the head go, letting the spine release a little bit. Let's bend the knees, swing the arms back. Come again into a counter stretch. I'm just going to enjoy that for a breath or so. Pushing the hips forward. And then coming back to neutral. Let the arms swing a little bit. Shaking it off still. I'm going to come into a rather wide or medium straddle position and do a little hip stretching. Dipping on the right, bringing first that stretch into the inner thigh. Dipping on the left. And again on the right and on the left. Just noticing how the two sides work together, how they're different, how they're the same. And I'm going to come back to neutral. Walk these feet back closer together so that they're under the hip bones. And I'm going to do hip slides over to the left. Trying to keep weight on both feet. Over to the right. For me, that brings a stretch up into the torso. Much different. Over to the right. Over to the left, and to the right again, to the left, to the right, to the left. Let's do hip pushes, a totally different stretch. Again, bringing weight off of the right and pushing into that left hip. Do be careful, do be mindful, do listen to your own body. For me, that's a stretch that feels really good, but that is a ball and socket joint, so you want to be respectful and mindful as you explore that. Pushing into the right, pushing into the left, and into the right again. You can push kind of more into the front or the back, the side. For me, that feels pretty good. Over into the left. A little more hitch on that giddy up. This is my stabilizing leg on my snowboard. Feeling that from riding yesterday. Feels good though. Do some arms swinging, just hanging loose. Kind of swaying the spine. Getting just a little playful, fluid motion in there. I'm going to move forward with my 100 any reps. My hands are pretty swollen, so my clap snaps are ginger and nimble, but that's all right. I hope you're remembering to give yourself a little love because you are worth it. Give yourself a little playful movement because your body's a movement machine. And let go of some stress because there's more stress on the way. There's no shortage of stresses, so you don't got to hang on to all of them. Let that shit go. I wish you a fantastic, happy, fun day. Don't forget to play. Thanks for stopping by, and I'll be seeing you. Peace.